For those of you listening on the pod,
Put it on Lou. Welcome into hour two. Let's get into some more prospects. But before we do, Emilio, anything as we're having these conversations, we've obviously talked about Lee Hunter, who the Packers are planning on meeting if they haven't already at the scouting combine. We talked about them meeting with Jennings Dunker at the Senior Bowl. Is there anybody that comes to mind, or just any thoughts in general based off what we've talked about with Lee Hunter and Jennings Dunker? Am I wrong thinking if the Packers were to get one of those two guys, it's going to have to be 52 or trading up earlier to get them? Or do you think there's a chance that one of those two guys falls to 84? I just don't see them lasting to 84. Do you?
No, I don't either. And that's why I think, when you kind of look at it, who have the Packers met with, it seems like it's D-line, O-line, kind of right there in that 40 to 60 range, where if you have to move up, you can. Maybe you think, all right, if we're at 52, you may be able to trade back 5 spots and still get the one you want. But just from all the the cheese emojis and who we've met with, it seems like it's trenches early in the draft, and then kind of we go from there afterwards. But that's where I feel like we can kind of narrow it down. Obviously, we're never going to know what they're talking about behind the scenes, but you go ahead and look at, okay, who'd you meet with? You met with Jackson, you met with Lee Hunter, you met with Dunker. Okay, then what, are you going to go out and pick up a safety in the second round? I don't see that happening. You know what I mean? So it seems like they're kind of narrowing down their focus. We just kind of need to keep our eyes peeled, ears to the street and everything, and figure out who that's going to be.
Absolutely. We got a bunch of people in here tuning in. Greatly appreciate everybody hanging out with us here during Combine Week. We're going to dive into the defensive lineman measurements next. The Draft Network's Twitter account actually just put those out. If y'all would, everybody who's watching live right now, do us a big favor, smash that like button. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that. That'll help tell the algorithm, hey, these knuckleheads are in here talking ball. Everybody jump in here and join the conversation. Also, if you're watching on X, if you're more comfortable with that, that's absolutely awesome. But you can actually join the conversation a little bit easier in YouTube if you climb over to our YouTube channel. Just search Packer Fan Total Access there. Make sure you sub there as well.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Exactly. How about we throw a little change up here, Emilio? What do you think about jumping into the defensive line measurements as a whole? Are you cool with that?
Yeah, they're starting to come out, you said?
Yeah, so we got Draft Network is starting to fire them off here in rapid time. It started 24 minutes ago, so I'm going to hit refresh one more time here, and let's see if we can there's that actually reset a little bit more there. So we're just going to go right down the line. You see they've created a thread here, okay? And let's see if anything sticks out to us here. Obviously, Cameron Ball, don't know who he is on our board. If you want to do a little cross-checking, we can do that. He's 6'4", 310, 33-inch arms, 9.5-inch hand size there for him. So obviously – height, weight, arm length is the big thing here. Now, some people would say, why does it matter that you got big hands as an offensive lineman? It's a lot easier to get your paws on those guys when you've got big paws, right? And you typically pack a bigger punch. You ever put the gloves on and box somebody who's got larger hands, a little bit heavier handed, right? And that matters at the point of attack and punching in regard to that. I don't even know where Cameron Ball is on our board. Do you know where he's at?
Cameron Ball, D-tackle out of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Correct?
I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we have him. Sorry, I had him. He's 229.6 is his overall grade right now. I am throwing in his height weight of the 6'4", 210 with 33 inches. We're going to try to keep that column updated just so that we can dive into it a little bit later on. But he is low on our board. I don't have it. Let me re-sort it real quick.
No, you're good, man. You're good. The big thing, too, there is arm length, right? That's probably the most important aspect is that 33-inch arm length. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see here.
You're good, man. Just update it. We'll get the information in a minute. Let's move on to Caleb Banks. I'll just kind of rapid fire them out here, and we'll talk about it. Caleb Banks has been kind of the big story here, in my opinion. Like if we were to – I don't want to sort the board.
Ball was 332.
Okay, so he ended up in the 332 spot. Gotcha. So you're talking about, according to our board, potentially an undrafted free agent. We won't spend a whole lot of time there. Caleb Banks, right, defensive lineman. He's our second best defensive tackle. We got a 28.6 grade on him. Dane Brugler has him at 24, Tankathon 29, Daniel Jeremiah 39. So he'll probably be long gone before the Packers pick, I'm sure. But to me, he's the one that sticks out the most here, Emilio. 6'6", 327, 35-inch arms, and almost 11-inch hands.
Wow.
Caleb Banks is going to be a monster. Now, what did he do at the college level in terms of PFF, right? So at PFF in 2023, he was the 303rd highest graded defensive lineman. He jumped to 196 in 24, and we're showing the red box in 25. So evidently an injury is what kind of maybe lowered his stock a little bit there. We'll see if he's fully healthy. Obviously, if he's out there at the combine, we'll see him in the drills and see if that holds true. The PFF big board had him in the 16 spot. Consensus big board was a little bit different. They had him at 29. And, of course, Daniel Jeremiah had him at 39, Tankathon 29. And like we said, Dane Brugler has him as high as 24. So this is a guy that's probably going to be middle of the first. If he dominates and shows that he's completely healthy, who knows, man? Maybe he climbs up in the top 15 or so.
Hey, it's not going to happen for us, but the fact that he's 6'6", 327 that's impressive.
It really is, man. It is. Moving on, Nick Barrett, 6'3", 312 pounds, 33 3/8 arms with 10-inch hands there as well. That's another defensive tackle. Rashawn Benny, I think the Packers met with Rashawn Benny, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes, we did.
6'3", 298, 33 3/8 arms. So the arms check out pretty well there, right? I can't remember the exact thresholds we had. We had an article pulled up on PFF or on Patreon. Let me I'll try to pull that off to the side here. That way we know exactly what the minimum and what the history showed in terms of threshold. Man, I got more windows open than a trailer park right
I'm telling you.
Tell you. We'll hopefully it won't slow the stream down. You let us know. Make sure in the chat, let us know that the stream is flowing okay with all these different windows open here.
And so far we haven't really had the arm length discussion. Everyone's sort of still sitting there at that 33 inches. So I think we're in good shape that way. It's just, once we get into the O line, I think that's going to be a lot bigger of a talking point coming forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like when we did that threshold report the other day, the big thing that stood out, here it is. I had the one from last year. So the big thing that stood out is on one side of the ball, it was a little bit more important than the other, right? Like offensive line, they're saying the minimum threshold is 33 1/4 inch arms, okay? For offensive line athletic threshold for the Packers. The ideal is 34 plus. However, when you get the defensive tackle, it says the arm length, the minimum is 32. So you're willing to put up with it a little bit more on defense, although if you get above 33 inches, that's the ideal arm length for the Packers, okay? So again, anything over 33 you consider ideal on defense, on the defensive line. So Rashawn Benny seems to check out pretty good there. He's a little bit lighter. You might want to see him over 300 pounds. The hands aren't quite as big as some of the other guys, but decent measurements there. DeMonte Capehart, 6'5", 313, 33 7/8 arms, and then 10 1/4 there. So he's got the 33 arms. That checks out pretty good. 6'5", 313 at defensive tackle.
Absolutely.
Where do you got? Can you see where he's at?
DeMonte? Yeah, Capehart is. We have a score of 174.2 on Capehart, which puts him right about 240-ish, 234. So he's, closer. Some of those guys are lower down on, the when we're sorting by D linemen, but looks more like a late round pick kind of guy.
Got it. And back to Rashawn Benny here, guys, with his measurements and everything, 6'3", 298, 33 3/8 arms. The Packers did meet with him at the Senior Bowl. We've got him in the 160 spot, and he's very intriguing. Dane Brugler has him as the 100th best prospect, which would be significantly higher than our 160, right? Mm-hmm. He also got the 5-point bonus at the Senior Bowl, so he dominated at the Senior Bowl. So Rashawn Benny helping his draft stock today, no doubt about it. With that arm length. Brandon Cleveland, 6'3", 307, 32 3/8, a little bit shorter arms, right? Dante Corleone, that's a guy that some people absolutely love, right? 6'1.5", 340 pounds. My man is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Arm length only 31 7/8, so that's going to hurt him, I would imagine. Don't you think, Emilio, there when it comes to Dante Corleone?
Absolutely. And he was one of the ones that's in that top right quadrant, right? That has that pass rush and the run stopping ability coming out of Cincinnati. Just, however much you're going to make that the conversation about the height, weight, speed kind of guy. We'll see if that pays off here.
Yeah. All right, moving along, you've got Zane Durant, 6'1", 290, 31 7/8 arms. Bryson Eason, 6'2", 323, 33 and 1/8 inch arms, 10-inch hands, so decent arm length there. He kind of checks the box, 6'2", 323. I'm a bigger fan of defensive tackles. It's kind of, I don't know, man. I shouldn't say I'm a bigger fan. There's pros and cons. Like if you've got a really tall defensive tackle, they may not have good pad level. Like we talked about with Lee Hunter, that's the only thing that people are really finding in terms of a knock of his game. However, when they're taller, like a Calais Campbell is a massive human being, boy, you can get those arms up in the throwing lanes too, right? So it is kind of give and take in that regard. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Bryson Eason, 6'2", 323, 33-inch arms. Devin Eastern. This one's really interesting because the Packers just met with him. Look at this. 6'5", 315, 34-inch arms and 10-inch hands. I'm pretty sure that I actually typed that in this morning, that Devin Easton, or is it Eastern? Yeah, it's Eastern. That's right. Devin Eastern, right? The Packers did meet with him. Now, we got a 344 grade on him. He's way down the board. But, boy, he's on track to have a great RAS. 6'5", 315, 34-inch arms, 10-inch hands. So that's really, really interesting there.
And it seems like you get a couple of those guys that are, a little inside, a little outside. Like here, Bryson Eason, just the player before out of Tennessee, we have him as an edge, right? And, you got the D-line, everybody in there kind of working around. DJ has also talked about how it's a deep edge group this year as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Goody takes a shot at one of the edges. You're worried about Rashawn. You're not sure what Kingsley's going to do. You got to be planning everything that Goody and the team is doing. Is also, it's for this year, but also for next year, the year down the road after that. You got to plan ahead on who's still going to be here in the future.
Yeah, and this one hurts, Emilio. This one hurts bad, dude. Skylar Gill-Howard, right? We were talking about him. He is in the upper right quadrant for run stop rate and pass rush ability, right? Like he played great. If you remove the measurements, you go, he's a top 2, top 3. Definitely top 5 defensive tackle. Here's the problem. 6'1", 280 pounds, wow. 30 3/4 inch arms. 30-inch arms. And 9 1/4 inch hands.
30?
30, 3 3/4 of an inch. Yeah. That's wild. How in the hell did he play so well with such short arms if it truly matters that much? This is where Brian Balaga would say, yeah, they said I wasn't worth a crap because my arms were short too, right? Like, it's a tough conversation, but it does factor in. So let me look at the bright side here. Us saying that we really like Skylar Gill-Howard, that may hurt his draft stock where you can get him later in the draft. The question is, would Goody be willing to take him at any pick with 30-inch arms, right? Yeah. So that's tough, man. It's really, really tough. So Skylar Gill-Howard, man, that's
man, he's like 3 inches from everybody that I've got in so far. He's like 3 inches shorter in arm length from everybody. I mean, the hand size isn't terrible. You're 9 pushing 10, but
watch this. We're going to break out our personal assistant here real quick. Don't say anything, Emilio. Hey, big dog. How long was Aaron Donald's arm length at the combine?
At the 2014 NFL Combine, Aaron Donald's arm length was officially measured at 32 5/8 inches, which is about 82.9 centimeters.
All right, so 32-inch arms for Aaron Donald. I was trying to give Gill-Howard something like, well, Aaron Donald's are short. No, that's really short arms, So that's tough, man. That sucks for Skylar Gill-Howard. Now, who knows if he sinks in the draft? I would love to take him late. I just don't know if Goody would, So next, did we talk Grayson Halton yet? We did not, did we?
No.
So Grayson Halton, I want to say the Packers met with him. Am I wrong with that? Did they meet? Maybe they did.
No, they did not. They met with Caleb Proctor. I'm kind of excited to see. Did he come? Did he go to the combine? The one out of southeastern Louisiana.
I haven't seen yet. I hope he's on this list. That would be surely he did.
Oh, I got it. Let's see the little name at the bottom there.
I know. I'm excited about it too. So Grayson Halton, 6'3", 293. We're like a couple kids at a candy store. This is awesome. 6'3", 293, 31 and an 1/8 inch arms for Grayson Halton. Hand size is 10 inches, so nothing great there. It's Xavier Harris. Listen to this, boys. 6'8", 330 pounds. Louis said 6'8".
Yeah, exactly.
6'8", 330 pounds, 34 5/8 inch arms, and 10-inch hands. So My gosh, Xavier Harris is a monster of a human being. Where the heck is he on our board, man? I got to know.
Our boy Xavier, 160-ish. So he's probably sitting around 200, late 100 picks.
Yeah. So again, what Emilio's saying, guys, if you're new here, we got a 160.4 grade on him. That would suggest he's worthy of the 160th pick, but he's going to be significantly lower on our board. It's probably going to be 20 or 30 prospects higher than him, maybe even more, right? We don't have it sorted by that at the moment.
I'll do it real quick.
You're good, man. Keep where you at.
Yeah. Xavier Harris is 200 even, actually. 200
is where he's at? Got it. And back to Grayson Halton. Grayson Halton is actually 134 on our board, right? So, man, it's wild. All right, you ready for Lee Hunter? We talked about him earlier today.
Let's do it.
Lee Hunter, 6'3.5", 318, 33 1/4 inch arms, hand size 9 1/4. Not off the charts, but checks the box, right? We talked about it when we did our extensive deep dive there. Again, the minimum threshold for the Packers in the past, arm length, 32 inches. Ideal preferred, 33 plus. Lee Hunter, check the box, right? So what do you think, man? It's Lee Hunter's one of those names that's really starting to pop up. Like if somehow, some way he's there at 52 or he gets in range to trade up, that might be truly on the Packers' radar.
Over 6 foot, over 300, over 33. I think you check all those boxes there, no problem.
Yep, absolutely. Next is Darrell Jackson, another player we've talked about significantly.
I like him. Yep, out of Florida State.
Yep, the Packers actually met with him. I believe they met with him
at the Shrine game, I'm pretty sure, East-West game.
That's right, East-West Shrine. And I think he played really, really well at the Shrine Bowl, if I remember correctly. So Darrell Jackson, 6'5.5", 315 pounds, 34 3/4 inch arms. And look at the paws on this guy, 11-inch hands. Yeah, he definitely helped himself today. Well, his mama helped him.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That huge human being there. By the way, shout out to Mama Jackson for the labor there. I can only imagine how big he was as a kid. 6'5", almost 6'6", 315. Imagine Calais Campbell's mama. Lord have mercy. Whew. Boy, that'd be rough. Anyway, Shout out to all the mamas out there. Y'all are amazing. I just want to say that. Let's hit the super chat real quick from R. Smith. Thank you so much for the kind dono. Late to the chat, not sure if you got this, but I believe we met with Harold Perkins, LSU linebacker. Have you seen his tape? Man, plus Quay might be gone. We actually have him keyed up to do a scouting report on him. We've got a scouting report filled out in our Patreon group over at patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. We will hit that probably later on today or on tomorrow's show because we're obviously going to run out of time hitting some of these latest combine numbers. So again, when you look at the scouting report there with Harold Perkins, it's exciting. He's lower on our board, R.R. Smith. I'll give you a little bit of a snapshot. If I remember correctly, he ended up landing in the 248 spot on our big board. Okay. And you're going, whoa, that's way down there. I agree. It's way down there. Tankathon had him at 101. The reason he's so low on our board is when we took the scores down for PFF, Harold Perkins was 602nd highest graded linebacker at his position in college football. Now, it is hilarious, by the way. We talked about this. We get the numbers in early. I looked earlier, that grade, all of a sudden his grade rank changed, Emilio. So PFF is going behind the scenes and changing people's grades during the scouting process. And it's like, what are we doing here? Right? Come on, people. Let's and that's not a knock against Harold Perkins. That's just where he sits on our board. I want to say the consensus big board had him at 103 and the PFF big board had him at 142. So maybe they looked up and said, how do we have him at 142, but we had him 602nd at a score? Let's change that. We can adjust that later if y'all want, but the grade is the grade though, Emilio, right? Like you got to keep the grade that they give.
Absolutely. I mean, you still have all those prospects out there. I mean, you still have linebackers out there. Red Murdoch wasn't 600. Red Murdoch was second in the nation. You know what I mean? So that's, I mean, I'm just saying, but you look at it because, I mean, you take all those into account. Yeah, I think the 23 grade is helping him because it's a 243. So you got the PFF big board of the 142, the consensus of 103, and then his 602 that we have to take into account the 25 grade. We can't. If we have a 25 grade, we can't just get rid of that one because that one's the most recent. We want to take that into account. So his average before anything was a 272. So he would have been 300-400 on the board. What helps him the most is Tankathon brought him in at 101. That dropped his overall down to 186. So, I mean, Tankathon having him at 101 brought him down almost 100 points. with the averages. So he has a shot now, right? But you can't be performing 600 best linebacker and say, I'm going second round kind of thing.
Right. And when Emilio says it brought him down, he's actually talking about him rising up the board. It's
right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Down.
Yeah, brought us overall, the lower score wins kind of thing.
Yeah, lower number wins, definitely. So yeah, here's the thing about Harold Perkins. If you go, well, y'all got him way too low, I can respect that opinion. I really can. And I haven't watched this tape, so I'm taking R.R. Smith's word for it. I'm sure the tape looks phenomenal, right? But when you look at Dane Brugler, I think Dane Brugler had as many as 150 prospects, and he didn't even make the top 150 for him, at least 100. So he was definitely outside of the top 100. He didn't make Daniel Jeremiah's initial top 50, obviously. And we got the consensus big board and everything baked in. It's just that PFF grade that's really bringing him down. So maybe if we get a prospect like that where the PFF grade is an extreme outlier, maybe we can highlight that box like a, some kind of orange or something where we go, okay, newsflash, this is why he's dropping, okay? And who graded, which Uber driver graded that tape, right? That's the big question. So, shout out to PFF. R.R. Smith, thank you so much for the super chat, man. All right, moving along here. We talked to Darrell Jackson. Bobby Jamison Travis, sound like a country singer. 6'3", 328, 34 and a quarter inch arms, 9 5/8 inch paws there. So obviously he helped himself. Tim Keenan, defensive tackle out of Alabama, 6'1", 327, 30 and a half inch arms. That's tough. It's tough look there. Jackie Marshall, defensive tackle out of Baylor, 6'2.5", 293 pounds, 32 inch arms, 9.5 inch hand size. Chris McClellan, defensive tackle out of Missouri, 6'4", 313, 34 inch arms, hand size 11 inches. Where is Chris McClellan? Because Goody is going to love those measurements right there, man. Chris McClellan is 174 on our big board. Dane Brugler has him at 95. So Dane Brugler says we have him way too low. The reason he's lower on our board is mainly because the consensus big board said 328. The PFF big board said 328 is what we got them both in at. That's really rare that they're both the same number.
Yeah,
that might be one we need to update, Emilio. You know it. I'm going to pull that up off to the side. Okay. Keep that highlighted and let's troubleshoot this. We did this the other night in real time, right? We decided
that was with the Michigan State Center, right?
That's correct. So McClellan, right? McClellan, where does he sit today? We'll talk about where he has moved. Where is he? Is he even on the board? What in the world is going on? Do they have him listed as an edge, maybe? Where's McClellan? Oh, this is about to get interesting. Like, I'm not seeing him.
Chris says, Excelia with Red Murdoch got Glover jealous. Don't worry. Different sides of the ball, Chris. Come on now.
Chris McClellan, defensive lineman out of Missouri. Okay, so at the end of the college football season, so that's a typo then. I'm glad we checked it. McClellan at the end of the college football season was 158th according to the consensus big board.
Okay. 150, 148?
158.
158.
Yeah, so let's use that number. Since then, he's actually risen, but let's use the 158. So that was the problem.
Down a lot.
Yeah. So now if I hop over to PFF's big board, they may have changed it too, but just want to make sure that we get it as close as we can. I like doing these in real time too, so you guys can kind of see how the cake is baked, so to speak. Chris McClellan, according to PFF, is where are you at, sir? Chris McClellan, 127 now.
So do we want to take half like we did last time? Do we want to take the difference on that, or are we taking 127 for him?
Man, that's interesting. Where does he got
right
his
now? When I put in the 158, he dropped from like 142 as his final grade to 128. So that would put him right around the 148th pick-ish. 148 gotcha. On the board, I mean.
What's his rankings starting in 23?
23 he was 547, 24 he was 185, and 25 he was 72.
Yeah, okay. He's 74 now on there. That's hilarious how they're changing the grades. But anyway, so we got a decision to make then, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we want to do with Chris McClellan in terms of PFF rankings? Currently, it's showing him at the 127 spot. We had him at what spot?
328.
All right, so 328 and 127.
I mean, they gave him 200. I mean, that's a jump.
So right in the middle of those two numbers would be 227.5. What do you think? How do you feel about it?
I'm good.
Is that still too low?
227. Where's that put him? That puts him at 117.8. That would put him right around the 130th, 131st on the board.
Does that feel good to you, or should we just do it?
I think that's pretty fair.
All right, let's do it. Let's roll with that then.
He has been updated.
There you go. Troubleshooting that in real time. You love to see it, right? Love to see it. Next, you got Caden McDonald, 6'2", 326, 32.25-inch arms. So he meets kind of the minimum threshold. It's not ideal. Obviously, Caden McDonald is considered the best defensive tackle in the draft. He'll be long gone.
Yep, he's 21 on our board.
There you go. My boy, Kristen Miller. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
6'4", ding, ding, 321, ding, ding, arm length, 33 inches. Let's go. 10-inch hands. Kristen Miller's going to be rising up boards. Love it. Love to see it. Next, you've got Tyler Onyedem.
Perfect.
All right, works. Defensive tackle for Texas A&M. 6'3.5", 292 pounds, 34 1/8 arms with 10 1/8 of an inch hands. The arm length at 34 1/8, and the fact that he's almost 6'4" and at 292, he's probably a lot leaner than some of these guys. I like that. I like that a lot. I think he helped himself there, obviously. And Chris N. Is Chris N still in the chat? Look at this. Chris N's in the chat. Up next, Big Citrus. 6'2", 322 pounds, 33 3/8 of an inch arms, hand size 10 1/4 inches. Those are good measurements. Big good, right? I like the fact that his arms are almost 34 inches long, and he's 6'2", low center of gravity, still long arms. That's going to help Dominic Orange big time. And if you guys have ever seen an image of Dominic Orange, you hear Big Citrus and you think, oh, he's probably just got the big belly hanging. His arms are shredded, dude. Like
I thought you were gonna say. Have you ever seen a picture of him? It's just like the Syracuse mascot, man. He's just a big orange ball running around.
No, he's got some muscle mass to him. That dude is stout. Man.
There he is. I knew Chris was in there. He wasn't gonna let it slide.
Yeah, so he definitely helped himself. Oh, look, we got Caleb Proctor in the house, baby. Caleb Proctor, you ready for it?
Come on.
All right. 6'2", 291, little light, 33-inch arms, hand size 9.5 inches. The arms check the box at 6'2", 291. I like it. I don't think that hurts him. Do you?
No, I don't think. I mean, under 300 is maybe an issue, but the arms at 33, I feel like kind of evens that out. I feel like they can look past, weight a little bit more than they can look past arms. Because you can't grow longer arms, really.
Very, very good point. Very good point. Well, I don't know, man. It's 2026. Maybe they got something weird.
Yeah, you could get those. You got your knees done, Clay. Get a little taller, like White Chicks. That's a great movie. You've seen that one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure. You're not a big movie guy. I'm just making sure.
I know of it. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I know of it. Let me just put it. I can't lie to you completely here. I think it would get canceled today, don't you think? You think it would get
probably.
Canceled?
But I mean, could you imagine getting your knees done? I mean, how'd you get 6 inches? Got my knees done. Did you see this right here? Janice said per Joey at Chat Sports, Packers have had a formal conversation with Brandon Cisse at the Combine.
Nice. And I could be wrong. Janice, you may be able to let us know in the chat. I was seeing somebody wrote up a thing saying that he's basically a slot corner. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. I haven't dove into him too much. Do we have any kind of V next to him on the board at all?
We don't. We just have a cornerback out of South Carolina. He has the hard eyes. He does hit the threshold, though. He is 44th on our board. So that could be the second round pick, depending.
Yeah. All right. So we got Caleb Proctor. Got that information in. Albert Regas, defensive tackle from Texas A&M, 6'1", 295, 31 5/8 inch arms, hand size 9 5/8 inches. So obviously falling short of the 32 inches. Not a good look there. Probably gonna. I don't know how high he was on boards anyway, but yeah, that definitely wasn't good measurements there. So then next you've got Gary Smith, defensive tackle out of UCLA, 6'1", 319, 32.5 inch arms, hand size 9 3/4 of an inch. So there you go. That is Gary Smith, the third defensive tackle out of UCLA. Man, that's fun getting that information in real time. I'm going to try to back up on Twitter and take a look to see if anything else is coming down the pike. And there you go, Janice. I just seen what you were talking about. Easton Butler just tweeted out that South Carolina cornerback Brandon Cease did meet with the Packers. He was actually crediting Gary Wolfel, the guy who had mentioned that earlier with one of the other prospects. So we can go ahead and put the cheese emoji next to
that. He did. He received the cheese emoji, Clay.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. All right. So there's Brandon Cease. And yeah, there it was confirmed. He had a formal interview with the Packers at the NFL Combine in Indy. Cease is regarded a late first, early second round draft pick. The Packers' first pick is late in the second round at number 52. I think what Gary's hitting at is we're looking to maybe trade up because all these guys that they're meeting with, and now Goody did say at his presser, I think it was 2 days ago, he said even though they don't have a first round pick, they're treating the process exactly the same, right? So that would suggest like, hey, if you've got it, and listen, there's no surprise. You should do that.
I was going to say, yep.
If the board falls a certain way, you want more information rather than less. So if you didn't do any preparation on the first round talents because you don't have a first round grade, that's just silly to think. What if two of those guys fall out of the first round? And
it's like the Bears, right? Just take Caleb because he's Caleb, right? I don't even want to look at Jaden or anything like that.
Exactly right. Exactly. Going back to draft news here. Oh, we got is that offensive lineman coming in now? No, that's edge defender. So we got some edge defenders coming in. It looks. defensive end measurements are coming in now. So we do not have time to hit it. I'm assuming you got stuff you need to do, Emilio.
I'm ready whenever you are, man. I'm excited. We're gonna start getting some of this information coming in. Some real numbers, actual, guaranteed. No more PFF numbers. No more. College team numbers where you get your height measurement in cleats, you weigh in with all your pads on, stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited. We get some real numbers here.
And again, I'm not saying the Packers won't draft an edge defender, right? I'm not saying that. If the board sits just right, it's a tier 1 position of importance. Obviously, you're going to do that. But I'm glad that we got the defensive tackles live on the show like that because that's obviously something that the Packers really need to address. Whether Devontae Wyatt is in the future or not with the Packers, you've got to continue to add to that defensive tackle room. So I think we would all agree it did not meet the standard last year. And Devontae Wyatt's going to be 28 years old. We hit him with the 5th-year option, so you've got to decide: do you want to extend him or not? If you don't extend him, do you go into free agency? Do you grab somebody like Calais Campbell, David Onyemata, Leve Ozarike, or Logan Hall, someone like that? Or do you try to nab one of these guys in the draft? Obviously, the ones that are kind of in range for me, if Lee Hunter were to fall to 52, that would be just an absolute godsend, right? Probably not going to happen. So next on the list will be Darrell Jackson and Dominic Orange. Those are at 91 and 99. Now, you don't want to reach at 52 for those guys, but if you want to make sure you get a defensive tackle, you're going to have to get really creative there. They should be there. Well, I shouldn't say they should. Just because our board says it doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
We're picking at 84. Theoretically speaking, you would think that Darrell Jackson and Dominic Orange are going to be there, but we've got those scouting reports for Darrell Jackson already queued up. We'll probably hit that a little later today. So, but yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see where he ends up falling into place for sure. So, yeah, this is fun, man. Anything else? Any other notes you got? Anything at the forefront of your mind here as we kind of put all that information in the board?
Yeah, it's just I do like how we're starting to get those numbers to come in, but looking at it, you look at Brandon out of South Carolina. It's like we're bouncing between corner, D tackle, and offensive line. And yeah, you look at last year's draft. Okay, we took 2 edges, right? You get Barron Sorrell, you get Colin Oliver, and it seems like Goody doubles up on a lot of things. We got 2 tight ends. You got Tucker and Musgrave when they came out. You got Kobe Wooden and Carl Brooks when they came out. So I feel like you can kind of rotate that around. If you're going early at D-line, you might get a D-line later on, and then maybe 1 edge at the end. Not like you said, not that it's a position that they're going out trying to find in the 2nd round. But if you find someone in the 5th round that you like, I wouldn't think that Goody would pass on an edge player just because we really don't know where we're at. Maybe they know where they're at with Rashawn, but got potentially 2 guys leaving in Kingsley and Rashawn. You're going to have to replace that. Yeah, you got to, Sorrell's going to step up and, Colin Oliver can step up, but is he going to be more of a backer? Is he going to be more of a floater? It's always one of those where they're going to be looking to replace. And I can see him doubling up easily at D-line, at O-line, and then maybe 1 edge, and 1 backer, places where he wants competition, like corner and linebacker. I think you could also get another 1 or 2 in there.
I think it's all great points. William Jenkins in the chat said, y'all predicting a big free agency like last year? or are we staying silent till the draft? We have holes, but not enough draft capital. I have faith, but I also have no idea what path we are taking. I think we're all trying to figure it out, William. We could make a case for several free agents that we know we want, and you can free the money up. The money is there if you want it, right? It's just, does Goody want to do that, or does he feel good about the roster and say, hey, if we were healthy, we had a Super Bowl roster? I think if you go into any season thinking, all right, we're just going to get healthy and we're going to be a Super Bowl team, you're not improving your roster enough, right? So if it were me, and if you were asking me personally, William, the way I would approach this is I would go out and try to sign 2 free agents like you did last year. Now, the first thing I would do is move on from Aaron Banks. I would just say, you know what? We gave it a shot. We structured the contract where it's a 4-year deal that's really a 1-year deal. We had a 1 year out, essentially. Let's get out of that. It's only freeing up $4 million. If you go post June 1, you can free up $18 million. So, yeah, if you want to go post June 1, that's cool. Do that. But we've got to acknowledge that that's probably a swing and a miss. Is there a chance Aaron Banks could get better? Yes. But what I seen on tape last year with the 49ers and Aaron Banks, or with the Packers and Aaron Banks last year, is the same exact thing I seen with the 49ers. I seen an average to above average guard. And it's like, we're going to pay him 20 or, AAV, whatever it breaks down to from a $77 million contract. We're really going to pay him all that money to be above average? Like, right. I'm not even willing to overpay for good. Like, overpay for great. Yes, absolutely. Well, maybe it's an important position. Guard is not a tier 1 position. It's not even a tier 2 position, right? If you wanted to overpay for an above average center, I still disagree with it. However, at least you can make the case that, hey, man, it's a tier 2 position of importance, right? Right. That makes sense. If you wanted to overpay Rasheed Walker at left tackle, I don't agree with it, but I can understand the thought process because it's a tier 1 position of importance. Left guard, I don't know. At the time, you guys know, you'll see it this offseason when we make draft picks. If it doesn't line up with our board, we will tell you it doesn't line up with our board, and you'll immediately see your boy Clayton try to spin it positive. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, my God, Goody's an idiot. What are we doing? What are we thinking? And try to get everybody's reaction. I don't know enough about football player evaluation to pretend I know more than a general manager. I'm not going to do it. So I'm always going to try to find the positive aspect as a Packer fan. You guys don't tune in to hear me bitch and moan, right? You don't tune in to be depressed when the show is over. We're trying to think optimistically. So, but with Aaron Banks, when they signed him, it's like, man, seems like he overpaid. But I immediately went back to, hey, what has Goody done in the past with offensive linemen? He found Zach Tom. He identified that talent, right? He found Rasheed Walker in the 7th round, who has been, I think, a great pick. It's just not worth the $20 million plus, in my opinion, right. In terms of money. So I immediately shifted my focus to that. The Anthony Belton pick was a reach. We took him in the 2nd round. He was 120 on our board. Aaron Banks did not come. You notice we did not talk about Aaron Banks being one of our top free agents going into the free agent period, right? Because he wasn't listed as that. So,
well, and you think about it, Clay, the draft capital that you could be getting out of it, not this year, obviously, but next year for who's leaving. You get Rasheed, if Quay gets paid, you get all these guys going out there and getting that money. You're going to get those extra draft picks moving into next year. You're also planning ahead on that as well. But it's the question of, is Goody going to not accept it, but is he going to, take into account, okay, maybe I did miss on Banks. I'm ready to move on from him a year away. Or is he going to give it 2 years, right? Are you ready to cut bait with him after 1 year and move forward? I'm not sure. I don't know if Goody's going to, take that one on the chin or not, and then kind of go from there.
And if someone's argument is, well, we got to give him time, and he was only here for 1 year, I can understand that. I can respect that. That makes sense. It does. Like Anthony Belton, I'm not saying you should cut Anthony Belton. Obviously, he's a very young player. I'm just not going to sit here and pretend like some people are that Anthony Belton had a great year. He did not have a great year. He's a rookie, though. I get it. I got it. It hurts me that these idiots, Clayton and Emilio, can put a draft board together that says Ozzie Trapillo was the way better pick, and you went way down the board and got Anthony Belton and kind of tried to be the smartest guy in the room. And on the surface, Ozzie Trapillo had a much better season than Anthony Belton. So it's just tough, man. And again, hopefully all that makes sense. But in terms of predicting, though, I hope if it were me, I would go get 2. I don't know if they will. They got to free up some money sooner rather than later if they're going to do that. And they haven't done that yet. They haven't done any restructures. At least that's leaked out through any of the sources. Maybe that's coming here in the right before free agency, hopefully. But I would like to see them go get a defensive tackle because, again, I don't feel comfortable, if you were to take Darrell Jackson, let's say he is there at 84, I don't feel comfortable with him being the answer to all of our needs. I'd like to see him go get somebody like a David Onyemata or a Logan Hall if the price is right. Some of the projected market values are significantly lower right now. Go get a couple of those guys, or go get one of those guys, and then go get an offensive lineman. I would love to see him get Tyler Linderbaum and put the center thing to bed. But if you're not willing to pay him $20 to $22 million per year, then maybe you end up having to draft the center. And if you do that, go get one of the cheaper or two of the cheaper guards to play alongside and compete with Anthony Belton.
Yeah,
at the
we need a couple floor setters in free agency if that's where we're going. I don't think we're big, high ceiling kind of spenders in free agency. I think we're some floor setters if you're going out there to get any.
Absolutely. Lindsay in the chat just said, thanks, guys, with the heart emoji. Appreciate you, Lindsay. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. This is always fun getting in there and talking ball with everybody. So, all right, Emilio, anything else, man? You good?
I'm good, and I'm excited. We're going to start getting some numbers. Maybe you get it on it's on TV too, right? You can watch a little bit of it.
Yeah, NFL Network should have the coverage. I love having Twitter pulled up off to the side and then having NFL Network on. And if any news breaks, we'll continue to go live throughout the day. I just got to run to the lawyer's office. It's that annual – when it's tax season for you, boy, we love to go talk to the lawyer and just go, hey, here's what we're looking at. What do you think? He goes, oh, believe me, Bub, you're well within legal perimeters, I guess you could say.
Perfect.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Let's move forward with that. So we're going to go sit down with the lawyer, have a cup of coffee, and write him a check too. Wonderful. All right, Emilio, appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely, Clay. Glad to be here.
As 2-0 for this set, if y'all would hit that like button, because we know this show sucks. Hit an all-time average today. Got it. All right. This show sucked. This show suck. Hit an all-time average today. There you. I love it. See the word play with 2-0 for this is always there's levels to this thing.
There is. Yeah, it's deep.
Not an all-time high, an all-time average today. So, appreciate you, 2-0 for this. You're the man. So everybody hit that like button for us. Hit subscribe. Click the bell icon. We'll go live if any kind of news breaks. That's Emilio. This is Clayton. This is PTA. Everybody have a great afternoon. I rock you too, buddy. Appreciate you, man. We'll see y'all later. Bye.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.